The rain hammered against the window like it was trying to break in, mirroring the storm raging inside me as I stared at the faded scar on Alex's wrist, the one he'd always hidden under long sleeves. In that split second, with thunder cracking the sky open, I realized the easy laughs and late-night talks we'd shared for months weren't just roommate survival, they were the fragile threads of something deeper. Something he'd buried so deep it had almost convinced me it wasn't there. My heart slammed against my ribs. Not from fear, but from the terrifying thrill of seeing him. Really seeing him. For the first time. I was Logan Harper, 24, fresh out of a dead-end graphic design gig in Seattle, chasing dreams in the concrete jungle of Brooklyn that everyone said would chew me up and spit me out. New York wasn't kind to wide-eyed transplants like Merritt was a vampire sucking my bank account dry. And the subway's endless rattle was my unwanted soundtrack to loneliness. But then there was Alex Rivera, my roommate, the guy I'd answered a Craigslist ad for 6 months ago. He was 25, a barista by day and aspiring musician by night, with that effortless charm that made tips flow like water and made me forget how broke we both were. We clicked from the start, splitting pizza runs, binge-watching old sci-fi flicks until dawn, trading stories about exes who didn't get us. He was straight-edge reliable, the kind of friend who left notes on the fridge about whose turn it was to buy milk. Or so I thought. That night started ordinary enough. Or as ordinary as a Thursday in October gets when the city's pulse feels like it's sinking with your own frayed nerves. I'd come home soaked from a freelance pitch that bombed harder than the economy. My portfolio sketches rejected for being too safe. Alex was strumming his guitar in the living room. The one piece of furniture that wasn't secondhand salvage. Its soft melodies cutting through the downpour like a lifeline. "Rough day?" he'd asked, not looking up, his fingers dancing over the strings in a melody that sounded half familiar, half heartbreaking. "Yeah," I muttered, peeling off my jacket and collapsing onto the couch beside him. The air smelled of his cheap coffee and the faint vanilla from the candle we'd lit to mask the landlord's latest plumbing fiasco. We fell into our rhythm venting about the client who wanted edgy but mint corporate beige, him nodding with that half-smile that crinkled his eyes. But tonight, his playing carried an edge, notes lingering like unsaid apologies. When the song ended, silence stretched, thicker than the humidity clinging to the walls. "You ever feel like you're just pretending?" he said finally, his voice low, eyes fixed on the guitar neck as if it held the answers. I laughed it off at first. The kind of deflection you learn in foster care bounces crack a joke. Keep moving. Pretending. Man, every day's an audition in this city. What's eating you? He set the guitar aside. Slow. Deliberate. Like he was uncoiling a spring wound too tight. That's when the sleeve rode up, revealing the scara thin, jagged line from wrist to elbow, pale against his olive skin. I'd seen glimpses before, dismissed them as childhood accidents. The stories we all carry like invisible tattoos. But tonight, under the lamp's unforgiving glow, it told a different story. His hand trembled as he tugged the fabric down. But not before I caught the flicker in his eyes raw. Unguarded fear mixed with a plea I couldn't name. "Alex." My voice cracked, the room shrinking around us. Rain blurred the city lights outside, turning Manhattan's skyline into a watery dream. But in here, everything sharpened. He looked at me then. Really looked. And the weight of it pinned me in place. "It's nothing," he whispered. But his lie hung heavy, cracking the facade we'd built brick by roommate brick. I reached out without thinking, my hand on his arm, steadying him or maybe myself, I couldn't tell. "It's not nothing. Talk to me." He pulled back at first, the instinct of someone who'd learned to guard his fractures early. Alex Rivera, born in a sleepy suburb outside Chicago to parents who preached family values from the pulpit every Sunday. had always been the golden boy, valedictorian, soccer captain, the one who volunteered at church youth groups because it felt right. Until it didn't. At 18, the world had tilted when he realized the butterflies in his stomach weren't for the cheerleader smiling at him across the bleachers, but for the quiet teammate who lingered after practice, sharing water bottles and stolen glances. He'd buried it deep, convinced love like that was a sin his Midwestern roots couldn't forgive. College in New York was supposed to be escape, but the hiding followed, a shadow that turned every friendship into a minefield. That scar, a remnant from a night at 20, when the pressure cracked him open, alone in a dorm bathroom, razor in hand, whispering prayers for forgiveness that never came. He'd stopped short, bandaged it with lies, and left the windy city behind, chasing anonymity in the anonymity of the Big Apple. But roommates like me going Logan, with your Seattle rain stories and sketches of impossible futures made the mask slip. Inch by inch. I can't, he said now, voice breaking like the thunder outside. But he didn't pull away again. Instead, he leaned forward, elbows on knees, head in hands. Logan, you don't get it. All this time, you've been you. Solid. The guy who makes this hellhole feel like home. And I've been lying. Not to you, to myself. The words landed like punches, each one stripping away the illusions I'd clung to. Me. Solid. I'd grown up bouncing between foster homes in the Pacific Northwest, learning early that trust was a luxury I couldn't afford. My mom had OD'd when I was 6. Dad a ghost who sent birthday cards with 20s tucked inside like guilt money. Art was my armor pencils and pixels turning chaos into something beautiful. But Alex, he'd been my anchor here, the one constant in a city that demanded you reinvent or drown. Tell me. I pressed, my thumb brushing his sleeve, a silent promise I didn't know I could keep. The rain softened to a patter, the world holding its breath. He lifted his head, eyes meeting mine, blue storms swirling with years of unspoken storms. I'm gay, Logan. Have been since forever. And that night, I almost ended it because I thought no one could love a guy like me. Not my family. Not friends. Not anyone. The confession hung there, electric, rewriting every shared beer, every shoulder bump in the kitchen. I thought of the times I'd caught him staring when he thought I wasn't looking. The playlists he'd make with songs about hidden hearts. It wasn't revulsion twisting in my gut, it was recognition. A mirror to my own buried doubts. Was I straight? Or had the warmth I'd felt around him been something more? Something I'd labeled brotherly to keep it safe. Words failed, but my hand stayed, squeezing his arm. You idiot. You're not alone in this dump. Not anymore. He laughed, a choked sound that dissolved into tears. And in that moment, the dam broke. We talked until the rain stopped about his first crush on that soccer boy. The rejection letters from his parents when he tried to come out via email last year. Their radio silence louder than any sermon. About my own fragments, the foster dad who hugged too long. The confusion I'd shoved into sketchbooks rather than journals. Dawn crept in, painting the room gold. And for the first time, the apartment felt less like a stopgap and more like a beginning. But beginnings in New York aren't clean. They're jagged, laced with the fear of what comes next. The next morning, over cold cereal and awkward silences, Alex avoided my eyes. The vulnerability of night replaced by daylight armor. Last night was too much, he muttered, rinsing his bowl with unnecessary vigor. Forget it. Okay. Roommates don't do heart-to-hearts like that. I wanted to argue, to say we'd crossed a line worth exploring. But the doubt crept in mine. The city's indifferent hum reminding us both that vulnerability was a risk. Work pulled us apart, Me to a coffee shop grind for quick cash. Him to the record store where vinyl dreams paid barely enough for ramen. Yet the undercurrent lingered. In the texts we sent memes about bad dates. Links to songs that said what we couldn't. Weeks blurred into November's chill. Leaves crunching underfoot like forgotten promises. We fell into a careful dance. Movie nights resumed. But with charged silences. Brushes of hands that lingered a beat too long. I started noticing things, the way his laugh lit the room. How he'd hum while cooking. Off-key, but endearing. My sketches shifted too. From abstract cityscapes to portraits of him. Captured in pencil strokes that betrayed the ache building in my chest. One evening, after a particularly brutal shift where a customer screamed about a latte foam ratio, I came home to find him on the fire escape. Guitar in lap. City lights twinkling like distant stars. "Join me," he called. Voice tentative. I climbed out. The metal cold under my palms. And sat beside him. Our shoulders touching. The skyline stretched endless. A testament to reinvention. "I've been thinking," he said, strumming idly. "About us. About what I said." My pulse quickened. The air crisp with possibility. "Yeah. I'm scared, Logan. Of messing this up. Of you seeing me and walking away." I turned, cupping his face, rough stubble under my fingers. Eyes searching mine. "I'm scared too. But hiding. That's what almost broke you. And me. In my own way." Our lips met then. Tentative. Tasting of salt and second chances. It wasn't fireworks. It was a quiet unraveling. The kind that stitches wounds instead of igniting them. In that kiss, under the indifferent stars, I saw our future, not perfect, but real. Two guys, piecing together a life from scar tissue and shared silences. Proving that love isn't hidden. It's the courage to reveal it. But New York doesn't let you linger in bliss. December brought frost to the windows and frost to our fragile thaw. Alex's band gig at a dingy East Village bar was the spark, a crowd of hipsters and hecklers. His voice raw over feedback-laden amps. I stood in the back, heart swelling as he poured his soul into lyrics about shadowed hearts finding light. But midway through the set, his phone buzzed, a text from his sister. The one olive branch in his family tree. "Mom's sick. Come home for Christmas. Please." The plea in her words gutted him, pulling him back to Chicago's ghosts. "I have to go," he told me that night, packing a duffel with shaking hands. "Just for a week. To face it." "Face what?" I asked, dread coiling like the winter wind. "Everything. Them. Me." He zipped the bag, eyes pleading for understanding. "Will you be here when I get back?" "Always," I whispered, pulling him close. But as his cab vanished into the snow-slicked streets, doubt whispered, "To what if the past reclaimed him? What if I was just a city phase, erasable like a bad sketch?" The apartment echoed without him, walls closing in with memories, his coffee mug on the counter. Guitar picks scattered like confetti. I threw myself into work, landing a freelance gig illustrating a queer youth memoir, ironic, cathartic. Pages of stories like ours. Kids finding mirrors and ink. It fueled me. But the nights stretched long, filled with voicemails of his tired voice, families tense. Mom's chemo's kicking her ass. "Love you." Love. The word hung. Uncharted territory. On Christmas Eve, alone with a tree strung with dollar store lights, I called him. "Come back soon. This place isn't home without you." His reply cracked. "I will. And Logan, when I do, no more hiding." But secrets have a way of surfacing unbidden. The day he returned, face gaunt from hospital vigils, we collapsed into each other, reunion fierce. Unspoken promises sealed in tangled sheets. not with passion's fire, but comfort's quiet burn. We talked for hours, his mother's frail hand in his. The way she'd whispered, I was wrong about a lot. Before sleep claimed her. His father's stiff nod. Progress measured in millimeters. Yet the real storm brewed elsewhere. My own past clawed back a letter from Seattle. My long-lost aunt. Foster system's loose end. Inviting me home for a family reunion. Your family now? She wrote. But the words tasted like obligation. A pull toward roots I'd outgrown. Do you want to go? Alex asked, tracing patterns on my back as snow fell outside. I hesitated. The weight of choice pressing. Part of me does. To close the door. But you. You're mine now. He smiled. Soft. Then let's go together. Face it as us. January's bite sharpened as we boarded the red-eye west. Hand in hand through security's indifferent scan. Seattle greeted us with relentless drizzle. A mirror to my youth's gray haze. The reunion was at Aunt Clara's craftsman bungalow. A gathering of cousins and aunts I'd blurred into anonymity. They welcomed Alex with polite smiles. But the undercurrent hummed whispers about Logan's friend. Sidelong glances at our linked fingers. Dinner was a minefield, turkey dry as regret. Conversations skirting edges. So, Logan. Uncle Ray boomed. Fork paused midair. Settled down yet. Got a girl waiting in the big city. The table stilled. Eyes on me. Alex's grip tightened under the tablecloth. A lifeline. I swallowed. Heart thundering. Actually. It's a guy? Alex. My partner. Silence crashed. Thicker than fog. Aunt Clara's fork clattered. A cousin coughed. Uncle Ray's face reddened. Then softened. Surprise yielding to something human. Well. Hell. As long as he treats you right. It wasn't applause. But it was airspace to breathe. Later. On the porch swing creaking under starless skies. Alex leaned into me. You did it. For us. We did. The rain pattered. Washing old stains. In that moment, I saw our arc, from hidden scars to shared light. Two lives intertwining against the odds. Spring thawed New York into bloom. Cherry blossoms defiant against concrete. Our lease renewed. But so did Weatherapy Sessions' unpacking baggage. Alex's band gaining traction with songs born of our story. My illustrations gracing gallery walls with portraits of quiet revolutions. Yet trials lingered, a homophobic slur from a drunk neighbor. Alex's bandmate outing doubts about the gay frontman vibe. Each hit landed. But we absorbed. Grew muscles of resilience forged in fire. One balmy June evening. Atop our roof with the city sprawled like a living canvas. Alex knelt. Guitar pick in hand instead of ring. Logan Harper. You turned my hiding place into home. Marry me. Not for show for us. Tears blurred the skyline as I nodded. Pulling him up into a kiss that tasted of forever. No grand gestures. Just us flawed. Fierce. Found. Years later. In a brownstone we'd claimed as ours. With adoption papers for a wide-eyed kid named Jamie on the table. I look back on that rainy night. What began as a roommate's secret unveiled my own heart. Teaching that love isn't revelation's end, but journey's start. In a world quick to hide, we chose light-proving scars make the strongest stories. The summer of our engagement blurred into a haze of wedding planning that felt less like checklists and more like reclaiming stolen time. Alex's band, now christened Echo Scars, booked their first out-of-town gig in Philadelphia. A queer music fest where rainbows weren't just flags, but lifelines. I tagged along. My sketchpad capturing the crowd's kaleidoscope of faces tattooed elders sharing stories with fresh-faced teens. All pulsing to rhythms of defiance. Backstage. Amid the chaos of amp chords and half-smoked joints. Alex pulled me aside. This is what I hid from, he said, voice steady but eyes fierce. The noise of it all. But with you. It's music. Our ceremony was simple. A rooftop affair under July stars. Officiated by a drag queen friend who'd become family. Vows exchanged weren't poetry but truth, mine promising to sketch our tomorrows. His to sing our yesterdays. Guests our patchwork tribe of baristas. Artists. And one forgiving sister cheered as we kissed. The city below a symphony of horns honoring our chaos. But marriage isn't a knot tied tight. Its threads fraying and rewoven. Fall brought Alex's mom's remission news. A fragile gift laced with her hesitant visit. She arrived at Penn Station. Thinner but smiling. Arms opening not fully but enough. Over dinner pasta I'd burned in nerve she studied us. Fork twirling. I see it now, she said softly, glancing between Alex's hand and mine. The light in you both. I almost dimmed that. Forgiveness flowed uneven. Tears salting the sauce. But it mended cracks I'd feared permanent. My own family ties strengthened too. Aunt Clara sent care packages of Seattle salmon. Her letters evolving from stiff updates to questions about that handsome musician of yours. Roots. Once severed. Tendrilled back not perfect. But persistent. Winter tested us anew. My freelance dried up amid a market slump. Bills stacking like snowdrifts. Alex's gigs multiplied. But so did the late nights. Exhaustion etching lines around his eyes. One February blizzard. Snow sealing us in. Argument erupted over no thinga forgotten grocery run ballooning into accusations. You're always sketching alone. He snapped. Guitar case slamming shut. Am I just background noise now? I fired back. Hurt sharpening words. And you're out chasing spotlights while I hold the fort. We said no hiding. Alex not from each other. The fight deflated into silence. Wind howling mockery. We retreated to separate cornersm to the bedroom floor. Pencils scratching fury into abstract storms. Him to the fire escape. Strumming melancholy. Hours later. He slipped in. Blanket draped. Wordless. We curled together. Apologies unspoken but felt in the press of bodies. We're human. He murmured into my hair. Messy. That's the deal. Dawn brought clarity, a joint budget spreadsheet. Therapy rebooted with a couples counselor who specialized in queer dynamics. We learned to name shadows as fear of abandonment echoing childhood sermons. My terror of instability from foster flux. Growth wasn't linear. It zigzagged. But each turn deepened us. Spring 2028 bloomed with opportunity. Echo Scars landed an indie label deal. Their debut album unveiled, channeling our odyssey into tracks that climbed Spotify charts. Critics called it raw queer anthems for the hidden generation. I illustrated the cover a scarred wrist blooming into cityscape vines me, first solo exhibit following. Galleries buzzing with buyers who saw themselves in the lines. Yet joy's peak often precedes valley. June's heat wave coincided with Alex's sister announcing her pregnancy. A family expansion that stirred envy we hadn't voiced. Kids? She asked over video call. Beaming ultrasound in hand. You two would be naturals. The question lingered. A seed in fertile soil. We'd discussed it in whispers adoption. Surrogacy. The logistics of love in a world still hostile. But doubt not, were we ready? Stable enough. That night. Post-call. Alex paced our living room. Now adorned with framed sketches and gold records. What if we're not cut out for it? What if we screw up like they did with me? I pulled him down. Knees to carpet. We won't. Because we'll fight for it like we fight for us. Conversations evolved into action, foster certification classes. Home visits where social workers probed our scars with clinical eyes. Vulnerability revisited. But shared. It armored rather than wounded. By autumn, we welcomed our first placement, a 6-year-old girl named Mia. Braids wild, eyes wary from 3 homes in 2 years. Her arrival was chaos, spilled juice on rugs, nightmares echoing at 3 a.m. But Alex's lullabies soothed her. My stories illustrated her dreams. In her giggles, we glimpsed legacy, not blood, but chosen. Thanksgiving that year was ours, Mia's tiny hand in mine as we carved turkey. Alex's mom at the table, toasting to families we build. Laughter drowned old ghosts. Gratitude a balm. But life's script twists. Winter 2029 brought Mia's bio mom reclaiming her. A legal tether we knew loomed, but dreaded. Court dates blurred into heartbreak. Her departure a hollow and our home-stuffed bear left on the pillow. A silent accusation. Alex spiraled. Gigs skipped. Strings snapped under frustrated fingers. We failed her. He wept, curled on the couch where it all began. No, I countered, holding fierce. We loved her. That's not failure. Grief's tide pulled. But we swam volunteering at a youth center, mentoring kids like our younger selves. Stories shared in circle time. Alex's scar as battle mark from fighting shadows. Mine as art from broken pencils. Healing rippled outward, mending inward. Spring 2030 whispered renewal. A call came, a baby boy. Newborn. Relinquish Jamie's file simple. Our hearts open. Hospital pickup day. Alex trembled signing papers. Me snapping photos of tiny fists clutching ours. Homecoming was symphony, coups over bottles. Sleepless nights traded like treasures. Fatherhood reshaped us. Alex's music softened. Ballads for bedtime. My art bloomed, domestic crayon scribbles framed beside gallery prints. Challenges mounted, daycare waits. Judgmental stares in parks. The grind of dual careers. But in Jamie's first steps toward us, arms outstretched, we found profundity love as verb. Relentless. By summer's end, Echo Scars toured nationally. Alex dedicating shows to the family that found me. Backstage passes for Jamie's future. A promise etched. As Jamie's toddler tantrums echoed through our brownstone. Now a fortress of sippy cups and scattered blocks. I often revisited that rainy evening not with nostalgia's rose tint, but with the sharp clarity of how far we journeyed. Alex and I had evolved from tentative lovers to co-pilots in chaos. Our bond tempered by trials that would have sunk lesser ships. Yet beneath the domestic hum, undercurrents stirred, reminding us growth demands vigilance. Fall 2031 brought Alex's album, Roots Rewoven, to critical acclaim. A collection weaving family anthems with queer resilience. Tour dates stacked, pulling him to Chicago for a homecoming show, irony thick as the lakefront fog. Come with, he urged. Jamie on hip. But my exhibit deadline loomed, a series on foster legacies. Raw portraits destined for MoMA's outreach wing. Go, I said, kissing his temple. Sing for the kid who hid. He returned, changed, electrified, but shadowed. Over airport coffee, he confessed, post-show. His father appeared, uninvited, face lined deeper by time and regret. He said, he's proud. First time. But it felt like too little. Too late. Pride warred with pain in his voice. A knot I couldn't untie. We leaned into it, date nights reclaiming us. Therapy dissecting paternal phantoms. Jamie's babble bridged gaps. His dadassing. Demands coaxing Alex's guitar from dust. Winter's grip tightened with Jamie's first fever. A mundane crisis amplifying our fears. Our waits at midnight. Fluorescent harsh on worry-etched faces. Alex pacing while I held our boy's heat-damp curls. What if we're not enough? He whispered, echoing old doubts. We are, I replied, hand in his. Because we show up. Dawn discharged us. antibiotics in tow. But the scare lingered a catalyst. We dove deeper into community, co-founding a queer parent support group. Meetings in church basements turned sanctuaries. Stories swapped like lifeless adoptions navigated. Bigotries battled forging allies from strangers. Spring 2032 unfurled with Jamie's preschool enrollment. A milestone laced bittersweet. Drop-off mornings. His backpack dwarfing him. Alex teared up in the parking lot. He's ours. Logan. Really ours. Adoption finalization party followed. Backyard barbecue with rainbow balloons. Aunt Clara flying cross-country. Toasting to chosen forever. Laughter rang. But evening quieted us on the porch. Stars pricking the dusk. Remember our first Christmas? Alex mused. Head on my shoulder. I thought I'd lose you to Seattle. You almost did. I admitted. But home's where the heart fights to stay. Summer's heat wave tested resolve anew. My career played a wed galleries lauding past work. But fresh commissions scarce. Doubt crept. Whispers of imposter from foster scars. Alex noticed. Canceling a festival slot to co-illustrate a children's book on diverse families. Our collaboration a bomb. Your lines breathe life. He said, critiquing over wine. Like you do for us. Jamie's curiosity bloomed twinless whys about why two daddies. Answered with storybooks we'd penned. Pride marched that June. Him in tiny vest waving flags. Us amidst the throng a sea of stories mirroring ours. But autumn winds carried storms. Alex's mom relapsed. Chemo's rhythm disrupting holidays. We flew Midwest. Jamie in tow. Hospital rooms sterile against his crayon drawings taped to walls. Her hand in Alex's. Frail but firm. You boys. You've shown me grace. Pass it to him. She nodded at Jamie. Eyes glistening. Her passing in November was gentle. A winter exhale. Funeral blended faith's guitar hymns beside hymns. Eulogies weaving her evolution. Alex's tribute song. Grace notes. Close the service. Voice cracking but carrying. Back in New York. Grief settled like snow holidays hushed. Jamie's questions piercing. Nana go where? We honored her with a foundation, scholarships for queer youth in recovery. Her name a beacon. Healing threaded slow. But Jamie's hugs anchored. His I love yous mantras. 2033 dawned with reinvention. Echo scars evolved to family band. Jamie's giggles on backing tracks. My solo show threads of us sold out. Buyers moved by narratives of mended lives. We bought a weekend cabin upstate wood smoke and lake swims. Unplugging from city's roar. Yet complacency lurks. A spring argument flared over tour extensions, Alex's ambition clashing my stability cravings. You're clipping my wings. He accused. Words sharp as snapped strings. And you're flying solo. Leaving us grounded. I retorted. Old insecurities flaring. Cool-off walks led to bonfire confessions, his fear of fading relevance. My terror of loss. Vows renewed not rings. But resolve, monthly check-ins. Dreams shared sans sacrifice. Summer brought Jamie's kindergarten right. His backpack heavier with independence. We volunteered at school. Reading tales of diverse heroes. Community deepened neighbors who'd eyed us wary now borrowing sugar. Playdates bridging divides. Fall's harvest yielded bounty. Alex's memoir deal. Our story inked for shelves. Co-authoring sessions. Laptops amid leaves. Laughter punctuating revisions. Hook him like that night. He teased. Quoting my rain-drenched awe. Winter 2034, whispered legacy. Jamie's school project family tree drawn, with glued photos hung proud. Branches for blood and chosen. Roots intertwining. At his holiday concert. Tiny voice piping carols. We swelled parents among parents. Ordinary miracle. Reflecting poolside that New Year's. Champagne fizzing. Alex raised glass. To the night that unveiled us. To every dawn since. I clinked. From roommates to revolutionaries. Our tapestry wove on threads of triumph. Teaching that love's revelation endures. A light undimmed. Jamie's kindergarten finger paints evolved into schoolyard dramas by 2035. His world expanding as ours contracted under parenting's relentless pull. Alex and I navigated the pivot from duo to trio with grace, earned hard date nights squeezed between bedtime stories. Intimacy rediscovered in stolen glances across dinner tables. Yet the underbelly of bliss gnawed, societal scrutiny. Amplified by Alex's rising profile. His memoir, Hidden Harmonies, hit shelves that spring. Bestseller lists climbing on waves of raw authenticity. Interviews poured, podcasts probing scars. TV spots where anchors tiptoed around lifestyle choices. One CNN segment soured. Hosts veiled barb. How does fatherhood fit your journey? Alex's reply. Measured fire. It's the crescendo. Not sideline. Backlash brewed on Linatrolls dredging old sermons. Family values groups picketing book signings. Hate mail stacked. Anonymous venom poisoning our P.O. box. Nights. Alex scrolled feeds. Jaw clenched. They don't get it. He'd mutter. Jamie asleep upstairs. It's not about label sits living true. I pulled the laptop away, drawing him to bed. Then blocked the noise. We're louder. Summer's heat amplified tensions. A book tour leg in the South tested metal Bible Belt cities where rainbows drew glares. In Atlanta, post-reading Q&A turned hostile, a father decrying indoctrination. Mike thrust like accusation. Alex stood, voice steady. My story's not recruitment, it's survival. For kids like mine. It's permission to breathe. Crowd split applause, clashing boos, but a young man lingered after. Tear-streaked. You saved me tonight. Alex hugged him. Our eyes meeting across the room, purpose reaffirmed. Homecoming healed, upstate cabin weekends. Jamie splashing creeks. Us grilling tales of tour triumphs. My own work flourished, a graphic novel adaptation of his memoir. Panels pulsing with emotion. Collaboration deepened intimacy. Late nights layering dialogue over wine. Fall brought Jamie's first crush, schoolyard boy named Theo. Innocent handholds sparking our chuckles. Like us? He asked. Crayon heart in fist. Exactly like us. Alex beamed. Kneeling. Love finds its way. But winter's chill ushered vulnerability. Social media storm reignited leaked tour photo. Our kiss pixelated for outrage. Headlines screamed celeb agenda. Sponsors wavering. Alex's label pressured, toned down promo. He refused. Quitting instead. Art over commerce. He declared. But fallout bit gig droughts. Savings strained. Doubt dialogue dinners. Am I selfish? Dragging us here? He'd ask. Jamie's blocks tumbling nearby. No. I'd counter. Rebuilding towers. Brave. We'll pivot. Pivot we did. Alex teaching songwriting workshops at the youth center. Me freelancing queer-lit covers. Community cushioned fundraisers for the foundation swelled coffers. Allies amplifying voices. Spring 2036 bloomed resilient. Jamie's birthday bash panada bursting confetti doubled as launch for our joint project, a kids album. Tracks teaching tolerance through tunes. Critics cooed heartfelt family fare. Sales sustaining dreams. Yet personal tempests brewed. Aunt Clara's health faltered, heart scare sending us west. Jamie's first flight a wonder of clouds. Hospital vigil mirrored Alex's past. Her wit undimmed. Don't you dare let worry win. Boys. Fight pretty. Recovery rallied us. Her discharge toast. To kinships that outlast blood. Summer's solstice marked decades since that rain-lashed revelation. Anniversary Getaway City Hotel Redux. No kiddo. Just us. Rooftop dinner. Skyline winking. Alex gifted engraved pics, unveiled forever. Lovemaking slow. Reverent. Bodies maps of shared miles. Fall's foliage framed Jamie's school playam as tree in eco-fable. Branches waving fierce. Post-curtain ice cream. He confided, Theo said boys can't like boys. I said they can cause my daddies do. Pride swelled. Lesson landed. We hosted Theo's family for playdate. Bridging with brownies and books. Winter 2037 whispered expansion. Foundation grant funded a shelter wing naming it Grace Haven for Alex's mom. Opening gala. Survivors' speeches echoing our arcs, from hidden to heroes. But joy's shadow loomed. Jamie's asthma diagnosis wheezy nights. Inhaler rituals revived control illusions. PR runs at dawn. Alex's lullabies over monitors. My sketches distracting tiny fears. Why me? He'd wheeze. Eyes wide. Because you're strong. I'd soothe. Tracing superheroes on pads. Like your dad's. Therapy trio now. Pediatric sessions unpacking pediatric pains. Resilience rippled Jamie advocating for lung friends at recess. Badge of bravery. Spring 2038 yielded harvest. Alex's solo acoustic tour. Intimate venues fostering connection. I tagged with Jamie. Road tripping Americana diner pancakes. Motel sing-alongs. One Nebraska night. Flat tire under stars. We laughed at misfortune. Tools clinking like toasts. Summer's heat hatching. Talks of sibling for Jamie. Adoption wait lists navigated anew. Scared? Alex asked. Hammock swaying. Terrified. I admitted. But ready. Fall's equinox equaled equilibrium. Book tour redux. This time co-parented. Fans gifting onesies for baby 2. Community concerts raised shelter funds. Harmonies healing. Winter 2039 crown completion. Jamie's holiday recital flute trills triumphant preceded placement call, toddler girl. Lila. Eyes like Alex's storms. Home trial began. Chaos doubled, but cherished. New Year's Eve. Family for now. Fireworks bursting. To revelations that multiply. From that thunderous night to this constellation. Our story sings love, not endpoint. But ever-unfolding song. Lila's arrival in early 2040 transformed our brownstone into a symphony of sippy cup clatters and bilingual babble she. A 2-year-old Latina firecracker from border foster flows. Her papa. Melting Alex's reserve. Jamie. Big brother proud at 8. Orchestrated welcome committees of forts and flashcards. His empathy a quiet evolution from our early stumbles. Yet quartet life amplified fissures. Demanding dances more intricate than duets. Spring's thaw mirrored internal melts. Lila's nightmares echoes of separation woke us chorusing comforts. Alex's guitar a nightly nocturne. My studio. Once solo sanctuary. Now hosted finger paint sessions. Canvases splashed with sibling solidarity. But exhaustion etched sleepless tallies rivaling newborn days. Resentments simmering in stolen silences. One April dawn. Post-Lila meltdown. Alex snapped over spilled cereal. I can't juggle tours in this tornado. Maybe I book less. Less? That's your soul. I countered. Wiping counters like wounds. I'm drowning in designs to keep us afloat. Words weaponized weariness. Storming separate spaces. Jamie's wide eyes from hallway pierced. Daddy's fight. Heartbreak halved. We convened post-nap coffee cooling. Confessions hot. We're fraying. Alex admitted. Hand over mine. Need net. Not knots. Family therapy followed. Sessions scripting communication, I feel, over accusations. Gratitude journals logging graces. Lila's first words, "Love you both," bridged breaches. Her hugs, halting habits of retreat. Summer's solstice spotlighted shifts. Echo Scars reunited for festival circuit. Family-friendly sets with kiddo cameos, Jamie drumming beats. Lila dancing daisies. Backstage bonds with other queer parents wove wider webs. Playgroup potlucks. Co-op creches easing loads. Yet external gales gathered. National headlines fixated on woke parenting. Our foundation targeted by culture warriors decrying groomer grants. Protests pelted shelter steps. Slurs scrawled on walls. Alex's response album, Stand Unbowed, channeled fury to folk anthems. Climbing charts defiant. I illustrated protest poster silhouettes of families unbroken distributed digitally. Viraling solidarity. Fall's foliage framed fortitude. Lila's adoption, hearing judge's gavel grace-sealed sisterhood. Party piñatas popping joy. Jamie's essay contest win. My Two Dad Tree. Published locally, roots twist. But hold strong. Winter 2041, whispered warnings. Lila's bilingual therapy unearthed trauma border crossings, ghosts, and tantrums. We immersed, Spanish story hours. Cultural festivals fusing her heritage with ours. Alex's Chicago roots research yielded Rivera Relativisibula's empanadas bridging bloodlines. But personal precipice loomed. My 40th neared. Milestone mocking mortality, sketches slowing. Joints aching from hauling tots. Am I fading? I journaled. Doubts ink dark. Alex's 40th gift, weekend writer's retreat. Laptop and love note. Your lines launched us. Keep drawing. Solitude sparked new series on aging queerly. Galleries gobbling gray-haired grace. Spring 2042 bloomed bold. Jamie's tween transition braces gleaming. Crushes complicating prompted puberty primers. Our candor countering confusion. Boys. Girls. Both heart leads. Alex schooled over Sundays. Lila's preschool pageant her as butterfly. Wings whirring drew tears. Transformation tangible. Community center expansion. Lila's wing. Housed art therapy. Her namesake a nod to flight. Summer's heat hatched hurdles. Tour bus breakdown in Texas, stranding us amid heartland hostility, motel clerks sneer at family unit. Roadside revelation, group huddle under hood. Jamie's jokes defusing dread. Lila's lullaby lilting calm. We're unbreakable. Alex declared. AAA arriving ally. Fall's Harvest hosted Harvest. Book sequel harmonies held. Co-written with kids, illustrations bestseller bomb. Signings swarmed supporters. One elder's whisper, you give us tomorrows. Winter 2043 crowned kinship. Lila's 5th birthday pinata partnering Jamie's 10th united us in unity cake. Foundation gala. Survivors spotlighted. Toasts to threads that tether. Yet shadow season cycle. 2044's spring squall. Jamie's school bullying slurs for Gaby, igniting advocate fire. We marched PDA. Policy pivots penned. Alex's op-ed, Raising Rainbows, viraled reform. Lila's lag in letters sparked specialist seeks dyslexia diagnosed. Interventions igniting imagination. Her Dragon Diaries. Dictated delights. Became family favorites. Summer 2045 sang Synergy. Cross-country caravan echo scars family tour mapped memories. Seattle sketches with Aunt Clara. Chicago chords with kin. Diner debates on dreams. Kids queries questing quests. Fall's symphony swelled. Jamie's bar mitzvah not secular, but sacred. Blending heritagesvos of valor voiced. Lila's leap into reading. First book, Our Family Tree. Tear-traced triumph. Winter 2046 whispered wonders. New placement ponder teen foster. Marcus. 15 and fierce-tested capacities. Home stretched. Hearts expanded. His guitar jams with Alex. Art talks with me. Mending his mistrust. New Year's nebula. 5 soul stargazing. Constellations connecting. From one hidden heart to this heaven. Alex marveled. Our odyssey orbits onward, revelations rippling. Love's light leading legions. Marcus's integration in 2047 unfolded like a cautious chord progression 15. Lanky with locks and guarded grins. His foster file a litany of leavings. Initial weeks wired with wariness, slammed doors echoing distrust. Midnight monologues to shadows we overheard. Jamie, 12 now. Brokered bridges with basketball bounces. Lila, 7. Lured with Lego labyrinths. Alex and I parented patiently. Boundaries drawn in dinner dialogues, house rules, honesty. Hustle. Heart. Spring's renewal reflected his thaw. Music mentorship bloomed, Alex gifting guitar. Lessons layering lyrics on loneliness. Marcus's melodies mourn moves. But hope hummed in hooks. My studio sessions sketched his silhouette evolving from edged outlines to open expanses mirroring men's. Yet youth's tempests tossed. School skirmishes, cliques clashing over his weird family culminated in suspension. Knuckles bruised from brawl. They called you freaks. He spat. Ice on lip. I defended. Pride pierced, fierce. But fists aren't fix. Restorative circles convene, peers prompted perspectives. Apologies airing like spring breezes. Marcus's reflection, family fights fair. Summer scorcher, seared solidarity. Beach bonfires upstate. Esmore's melting mask stories swapped under smoke, my foster flights. Alex's scar saga. Kids' kernels of courage. Marcus's confession. Flames flickering. Thought I'd never stick. But here. I wanna. Adoption accelerated. Courts convinced by chorus of commitment. Finalization fiesta fireworks for 5 sealed sonship. His hug halting hesitations. Fall 2048 framed flourishing. Jamie's junior high jazz band. Trumpet triumphant. Lila's dance recitals. Pirouettes pure. Marcus's poetry slams. Verses victorious. Foundation fellowship funded his spoken word tour. Stages spotlighting survival. But autumn aches arrived. Alex's voice strained tour told taxing throat diagnosed nodes. Surgery sidelining songs. Hospital hush-hushed home. His Betterton ballads brave. Sing when ready. I soothed. Ukulele uke standby. Recovery reframed rhythms. Acoustic intimates over arenas. Voice velvetier. Vulnerability valued. Album, whispers woven, whispered wonders. Fans flocking for fragility. Winter 2049 warmed with wonders. Lila's holiday harp lessons lilting harmonized house. Jamie's crush chronicle. Boyband banter over braces off beams. Marcus's mentorship match tutoring tots at center. Cycle closing. Yet 2050s spring stormed. Economic eddy recession rippling royalties/savings. Shelter staffing stretched. We rallied. GoFundMe gales. Garage sale gumption. Jamie's lemonade stands legendary. Lila's craft fares creative. Marcus's busks bountiful. Summer's solidarity surged. Cross-country coach tour echo scars caravan redux collected community, potlucks in prairies. Podcasts in pines. One Wyoming whistle stop. Elder allies embrace. Y'all are quilting quilts of queer kin. Fall's fervor flowered. My retrospective lines of lineage at Whitney family portraits pulsing drew droves. Donors doubling foundation funds. Alex curated companion concert. Strings strumming strokes. Winter 2051 whispered wisdom. Marcus's 16th sweet surprise SUV lessons steered self-discovery, coming out to kin. Crush on classmate confessed. Your turn to lead. Alex grinned. Keys keynoting trust. Jamie's activism ignited school GSA founding. Rallies rallying rights. Lila's letters to leaders. Lobbying literacy laws. But shadow swells. 2052's spring squalls. National rollback rumors adoption, reforms regressing. Protests pulsed. Our family frontlines, signs scrawled, love legal. Chants chorusing change. Alex's advocacy amplified testimony tapes to Congress. Voice veering policy. Marcus's marches. Megaphone mighty. Jamie's journals. Journalism Jr. Summer's heat-honed hope. Supreme swirling reaffirming rights sparked street parties. Rainbows raining. Fall 2053 framed futures. Lila's tween tango talent show tapped world talents. Marcus's college apps. Creative writing crowned. Winter 2054 crowned continuity. Holiday hearth. 5 strong hymns harmonizing heritages. Foundation's 5-year fate. Futures funded. Yet cycles circle. 2055 spring. Alex's arthritis announcement fingers fumbling frets forcing adaptations. Adaptive amps. Co-composing with kids. Creativity catalyzed. Summer sabbatical. Sabbath in Seattle. Aunt Clara's cabin coddling. Shoreline sketches. Starlit Strumsacharge ritual. Fall's flourish. Jamie's high school honors. Valedictorian vibe. Lila's leadership league. Debate dynamo. Marcus's NYU nod. Big Apple bound. Winter 2056 whispered what-ifs. Empty nest echoes loomed. But legacies linger red kids' kindnesses kindling kin. New Year's nexus. From duo's dawn to dynasty's dusk. Alex toasted. Eyes eternal. Our epic endures revelations radiating. Love's legacy luminous. Jamie's high school helix spiraled into 2057's Spotlight 18. Eloquent. His graduation gown a cape of conquests. Valedictorian address. Threads unbroken. Wove our tale into tapestry of tolerance. Auditorium applauding authenticity. Post-ceremony. Cap toss confetti. He hugged fierce. You charted this. College calls NYU film. Mirroring Marcus's path nestled him nearby. Dorm drops bittersweet. Lila. 13. Laptop liaison sibling updates. Her eye rolls endearing. Marcus. 22. Grad student guru. Guided gear shifts. Spring's send-off softened separations. Family film fest Jamie's thesis teaser. Critiques candid cemented closeness. Alex's cameo croon. My matte paint mock-ups. Lila's lighting. Marcus's score collective craft. Yet voids vacillate. Empty rooms echoed. Evenings elongated. Alex and I rediscovered duo dynamics dinners dallying. Dances and kitchens. Missed the madness. He queried. Waltz whimsical. Cherish the calm. I countered. Spins sinking souls. Summer's solstice spotlighted solos. Lila's camp counselor gig kids cabaret, kingpin gleaned growth. We weakened her. Witnessing wizardry. But autumn alerts. Lila's LGBTQ plus leanings crush on classmate Clara confided over Coco. Scared of labels. She probed. Mirroring our mirror. Labels limit less than love. Alex assured. Anecdotes anecdotal. Support swirled, pride pins. Parent panels. Winter 2058 warmed with wonders. Marcus's master's milestone thesis on queer narratives dedicated to daddies who drafted mine. Ceremony cheers. Cap claps. Jamie's internship intrigue doc on foster families filmed Our Foundations. Lince's loving. Spring 2059 bloomed bold. Lila's freshman 4A high school honors. Debate diva demanded drives. Her homecomings. Harried huddles. Heartened. Yet gales gather. National news nipped. Climate crises cresting. Queer rights regressions rumbling. Foundation flooded with fugitives youth fleeing state sanctions. We amplified. Alex's anthem sanctuary song. Streams surging shelters. My murals mosaic maps of migration man marches. Summer's storm surge. Hurricane havoc upstate. Cabin compromised. Rebuild rallied relatives Aunt Clara's crew. Rivera remnants hammering hope. Fall 2060 Framed Fortitude. Jamie's feature film fest premiere, Unrooted. Foster Odyssey's Oscar buzz brewing. Red carpet radiance. Our seat stars. Lila's leadership launch school Senate press policy pushing protections. Winter 2061 Whispered woes. Alex's health hiccup routine check revealing rheumatoid flare flummoxed frets. Rheumatology rounds. Rest regimens. But resilience rebounds. Adaptive AIDS ergonomic picks. Voice synth supplement sustained strums. Lila's lullabies lighten loads. Spring 2062 cycled kin. Marcus's marriage murmur partner Paolo. Poet passionate proposal pondered. We prepped. Parental pride. Jamie's journalism jump Emmy nod for doc elevated ethos. Summer's wedding whirl, upstate vows. Vine's veiling vows. Lila's flower girl flair. Jamie's best man banter family full circle. Fall 2063 flourished families. Lila's college quest Columbia come scandalized capers. But shadows stalk. 2064 spring, global glitches AI ethics upheavals impacted arts. My exhibits algorithm attacked. Alex's streams shadow banned. Advocacy arcs, congressional testimonies. Tech town halls voices vending verity. Summer's sabbatical, international immersion Euro queer fests. Family frolics in fjords. Lila's linguistics leap. Marcus's Milan melt. Winter 2065 crowned comebacks. Alex's autobiography audio narrated a new top charts. Jamie's director deal. Doc sequel. Lila's launch, freshman film club. Fostering futures. Yet 2060 SIXS spring squalls. Pandemic pangs Redux variants vexing visits. Virtual vigils. Vaccine vows. Resilience refrains, rooftop raves. Recipe shares connection contrived. Summer's surge, science salvation booster breakthroughs beacon bashes. Fall's fervor, Lila's thesis triumph media manifesto on marginalized makers. Winter 2067 whispered wisdoms. Grandkid glimmers Marcus's miracle. Baby bump buzz bridge generations. New Year's nebula. From fracture to flourishing. Alex avowed. Arms around all. Lila's college crescendo in 2068 crested with capstone clarity 20. Visionary. Her valedictorian video, Voices Veiled No More viraled. Vignettes of queer creators catalyzing curricula. Graduation gala. Gowns glittering. She dedicated to daddies who drew the dawn. Post-party. Packing pauses poignant brownstone bearer. But brimming with bequests. Jamie. 26. Oscar orbited auteur. Arrived with archival reels our rainy night reenacted. Real revelation. Marcus. 29. Papa proud. Paolo and progeny present. Toddler Theo toddling tugs. Spring's legacy lingered. Foundation's founders fade Alex, and I faded as forefathers fundraised futures. Speeches saluting scars to stars. Yet time's tide tugs. Alex's 70s neared. Joints jiving less. But just jaunty. Still strumming skeletons. I'd tease. Tracing tattoos. Only yours. He'd quip. Kisses kinetic. Summer's siesta, sanctuary sabbatical. Upstate acreage acquired acres for ambles. Atelier annex. Lila's launchpad, grad school grants. Global gigs. But autumn alerts. Health Horizons Hazami checkup chiding cholesterol. Alex's arthritis advancing. Annuals as anniversaries. Appointments affirming affections. Winter 2069 warmed with wonders. Grandkids gatherings Theo's 3. Plus Paolo's kindergarten chaos cherished. Jamie's Juliet partner Jules. Journalist Jester joined jigsaws. Spring 2070 bloomed boundless. Lila's Emmy Echo doc on digital divides dazzled. Marcus's monograph. Music memoirs. Yet gales globalize. Climate cataclysm schoastal creep scrimp cities. Our skyline submerging size. Foundation fortifies flood-proof facilities. Fellowship for Displaced Dreamers. Summer's Solidarity, Solar-Powered Stages. Alex's Acoustics Amplified. Family Flotilla Yacht yields to yawns. But yarns yarn on. Fall 2071, Framed Farewells. Aunt Clara's Centenary Seattle Soiree. Stories Storied Saluted Survivals. Winter 2072, Whispered What-Ifs. Alex's album, Eternal Echoes, collaborative with Kinech's Eternity. But 2073's Spring Storms, Stroke Scare for Messlard Speech. Swift Saves. Rehab Refrains, Resilience Routines. Kids Cheers Catalyzing Comebacks. Summer's Surge, Seaside Therapies. Strokes of Surfboards Sinking Steps. Fall's Flourish, Lila's Laurels Lucy Award for Lit Legacy Linking. Winter 2074, Crowned Continuums. Jamie's Directorial Dynasty Studios Sign Scripts, Our Saga. Yet Shadows Sharpen. 2075 Spring, Alex's Decline Diagnosed Early Dementia's Dusk Dawns Dimmed. Memory Mosaics, Melodies Muddled. But Love Lucid. Care Cascades, Family Flotations. Clinical Cohorts. Lila's Logs. Jamie's Lenses. Marcus's Measures Mosaic Mending. Summer's Solace, Sensory Sanctum Scent Gardens. Song Booster Sparks. Fall 2076, Framed Finalities. Alex's Autobiography, Addendum Dictated Dream Stignifies Drifts. Winter 2077, Whispers Wonders. Holidays Hushed. But Harmonies Hold Grandkids Giggles Gilding Gaps. Spring 2078, Blooms Bittersweet. Alex's Ascent Peaceful Passing. Pillows Propped Leaves Legacy Luminous. Memorial Melodies, Foundation Funded Forever. Friends' Funerals Flipped to Festivals Firefly Flights. Fiddles Free. Summer's Solstice, Solo Strolls. Sketches Saluting Souls. Fall 2079 Flourishes Forward. Lila's Lineage Little One. Logan Jr. Links Loops. Winter 2080 Whispers Wholeness. 86. I Archive Arcs Journals Journaled. Journals for Juniors. New Year's Nexus, Skyline Still. Stars Steadfast. From that thunderous unveiling to this tranquil tapestry. I toast alone. But allied eternal echoes.